the survey questions are really a good way, and even we send it out to people. Some of our CSA members have been with us for all of the years that we've been doing this, which is really that customer loyalty is feels really good. But we get new people, they're with us for a few years, they decide that they want to try growing a garden, and like this year a couple people that have been with us for a number of years have decided they're going to try to do their own garden. And the reality is an awful lot of times people think that it's really easy to grow a garden, and I suspect, as we have in the past, a lot of the people that end up trying to grow their own garden, the following year they come back and go, oh, well, that's a lot harder than I thought. But with the CSA survey, one of the things that we find is there's such a variable in that almost always we have as many people that say they got too much of one thing as somebody else thinks they didn't get enough. So it always seems to balance out. I think the only thing that we've ever really changed as far as what we grew, nobody liked turnips and nobody liked kohlrabi, so that was something that we eliminated. But then one year we had people asking for turnips and kohlrabi, so we added that. But then the next year the survey told us that not enough people liked that. So I'm going to start with the farmers market and assessing the farmers market, since that's a big outlet for that's probably a third of our sales are at the farmers market. And during the summer season we always offer samples, and samples really, you have to really look at what the regs are. A lot of things you can usually offer something that's in whole form. You can't cut it up and offer it. So cherry tomatoes are a good one, or strawberries or peas or something like that. And we have done garlic scape pesto over the years, which is since we grow a lot of garlic, we have a lot of scapes, and I have learned that with the garlic scape pesto, sampling something like that, I just have a sign out that says ask for a sample, and when they ask, I'll bring the pesto and crackers from around the back, because I've had people gobbling down the kids will come up and start taking all of my samples, and that's not a good thing. I don't like that happening. I think I lost the mouse again. Yes? No?
No, you have it, Diane.
Huh. Nothing's happening.
Did you click the screen again? There you go.
There we go. It's just slow on my end. It might be changing on your end, and it's just taking a while for me to be able to see it, I guess. This darn computer, I tell you. We just move on, do our best. So back to assessing last year's season. I just made a copy, and you've seen enough of my stuff. I do an awful lot of things just in handwritten notes, and there's a copy of one of my sticky notes. But I take notes all season long. If I'm trialing new varieties and tracking varieties in the field, of course I'm really tracking the yields of those specific varieties rather than putting them all. If I'm trying a new type of zucchini, I'm going to separate that zucchini out from the rest and keep track of what the yields are like, how they act in the field, how they are for production. And I'm also always making notes throughout the year, because I don't remember. When I'm thinking about it at the moment, it's there. Later on, it is gone. So I've got to put it down. I mean, I always keep a little notebook in my pocket in the field, and I keep a little notebook with me at the farmer's market. And actually, I keep a little notebook with me everywhere I go. So if I can write it down, then I don't have to remember. As long as I don't lose that notebook, I'm doing good. But as far as noting what varieties did poorly, my husband wrote that note on the written side there. Ixnay on the red cherry rays. We have fun with our notes to each other, but we did some red cherry tomatoes that did not do very well. Now we only grow sun gold tomatoes. I will probably never grow another kind of cherry tomato, because as far as I'm concerned, they're the best, and I'm done trialing other cherry tomatoes. I found the best. I'm sticking with that. We trialed the amazing cauliflower. Didn't do very well for us, and we've grown some a whole mix of heirloom tomatoes for some of the caterers we've worked with, and we still probably will grow maybe one plant just to have that variety for the caterers and restaurants because they want it. But the point is we keep track and make those notes. Um, we I just sent out the letters to the restaurants. I'm a little bit late sending those out, but they actually went out in the mail today. But I send them a letter. So the letters that went out today, I did one to the local natural food store and two to restaurants. And even though I've been with these restaurants for one restaurant we've been with for years, the other restaurant is new, I still send them a letter with a list of what we're growing. Then I follow up with a phone call, and if we can't, I ask them if they're interested in getting together one-on-one. If not, we can do it on the phone and just kind of discuss some specifics as far as what kind of things they think they might be wanting for the season. If for the restaurants, if they have any special events scheduled, if they have weddings, anything like that, usually there's some real specific things that people want for the food. And I'll probably talk a little bit more about this later, but sending the letters, making the phone calls, following up with that. I've talked a little bit about the Huckleberry Blues Jam, and this just goes back to assessing last year's season and with our jams as well. But in reviewing our notes, we're really looking at what we don't want to grow for the year, and sometimes looking at those kind of things, like for the jam very specifically, one of the notes that, and sometimes I'm not in our customer, finding out what our customers want and making note of what I overhear our customers saying, and the big thing was the customers were always commenting that they wanted some kind of label that said Sandpoint, Idaho, because they wanted to bring a gift from where they were vacationing. And when we made that one minor little change and added Sandpoint, Idaho to our jams, our sales doubled in 1 year. And we sell out we've sold out every year since then. And our jams are the most expensive jams at the market. I mean, we sell a half pint of the Huckleberry Blues Jam for $6. We're actually upping that price this year to $6.50, I believe. And our other half pints we sell for $5. And I look at other people at the farmers market, and they're taking cases of their jams home when we're selling out. And I'm convinced that, well, aside from the fact that ours is organic, there's probably more. The point is, it's more than just the price of the product. It's the quality of the product, it's what the label says, it's how we sell it. I can't do any kind of marketing without providing you a picture of our garlic because it's so beautiful. The garlic is one of the few things that we do pre-sell before our garlic comes out of the ground. I send out postcards, which I had postcards made with a photograph of, I should do this photo actually, but of cleaned garlic, and I put the prices of our garlic, and I kind of set that up but I'll send it out to all my former customers and let them know that the garlic is getting ready to be harvested and tell them to get their orders in early. And we generally have half the garlic sold before we even get it cleaned and out of the ground, because we almost always sell out. And when I say almost always, we did for years. We always sold out. As we increase our production, more our competition increases at the farmers market. So there's more people there with garlic, but still we hold the premium for quality, and with that quality goes with the longevity of how long our garlic lasts for storage as well, which is a part of our post-harvest handling. So with talking a little bit about selling to restaurants, every year we evaluate, we follow up with the chefs in the restaurants that we've worked with before. We look at new restaurants in town and establishments, and kind of when we're looking at them, we're really looking at what the access is like. What is it easy to get in and out? One of the restaurants that we were with, they had a very narrow hallway and 2 flights of steps up to get there. Well, last year I was on a cane. I certainly couldn't do a delivery there. We had another restaurant that was across the long bridge, and they were doing road work, and it took a half an hour to get just a half a mile. So I eliminated that one because the access was such. But one of the successful keys to marketing the restaurants is really understanding what the restaurateur needs and wants, and figuring out what is most important to the chefs and the restaurant owners when buying the produce or the meat or the other products from other farmers. It's important that you communicate, that you talk to the restaurant owners, that you sit with them, offer them samples of your product, explain who you are and why they should buy from you, and sell your farm and your way of life. Relationship building is really probably the single most important key to success, not only with the restaurants, but I think with anybody that you're selling to, but also coming up with some unique and unusual products. These are both heirloom peas that look beautiful on the plate. They're unusual. They're something that the restaurants can't purchase from their regular food supplier, so we grow that. With the restaurant surveys, we mail out the letter, and without really going over that exactly, it's just an excellent way to determine the needs of your potential buyers. Our goal is to have a good estimate of what they feel they'll need weekly during the growing season. I'll ask them what they think I mean, it's hard to estimate, but to get an estimate of what quantity they think they're going to need, and if they're buying from other farmers, what is something that the other farmers are not providing for them if I'm going to a new restaurant. And that really kind of is just a part of the marketing assessment and going through that process. And I put the resource here of Selling Produce to Restaurants, which is a little book that I wrote. The 5 Rules of Doing Business. This was in the Organic Farmer's Business Handbook, and I really liked it. And he wrote about this was it was a sign that was posted on the delivery dock of a store where Richard Wiswall was doing business, and it sums up quite clearly what their expectations were. Being on time for meetings and appointments. When you're working with people, be on time. Working with others and being on time shows them that you care and respect the other people. And as far as doing business, it's crucial to work with their schedule and do whatever you can to accommodate their wishes. I know the rule is the customer is always right. I have fired customers because they weren't right, but for the most part, I do what I can to meet the needs, and especially when I'm working with a restaurant or a natural food store or a retailer, I really want to, I like that, in that they're taking a larger quantity, and those are agreements that I really want to work with. So if for some reason I'm going to be late or I'm short on an item, I always call them immediately and let them know. But they really appreciate the fact that I call the same time every week, I deliver the same time every week, and if I come into the restaurant and they're busy, I don't expect them to stop what they're doing and pay me. I've even put food away and just leave the ticket there and go my merry way. So this is a picture of my flower competition, who I've mentioned before, who was one of my students through the Small Acreage Farming and Ranching course. And when I look at assessing the competition of the flowers, and I look at, for this situation, they have 2 acres of flowers. I only have maybe a 1/3 acre, so they also have free labor. The woman that has the flowers has 11 children, and 9 of them are at an age that can work in the field and help. So that's more power to them. The volume that they have allows them to sell large bouquets, although their bouquets